Good morning. Day 2 out here at the cabin, and I just wanted to show you a couple of things. A couple of years ago, I took some wildflower seeds and just spread them out here on the property. And we've got all these wildflowers coming up. Even have some medicinal plants. This is mullein, great for all things respiratory. But this is our little view from behind the shed. So it's nice to come and sit here and have coffee in the morning sometimes. All right, so the project today, until I figure out the septic thing, is we're gonna build 2 arched footbridges down by the creek. And so because I'm by myself and I don't have huge muscles, what I'm doing is I'm cutting the supports first, and then I'll drag them down there one by one. And then I'll probably have to go to the Garden Valley hardware store to get some boards to lay on the top. But ultimately they're 8-foot bridges, and I've already started doing some cuts, and last thing I did last night was to come up with the design. And so essentially how this is gonna work, you can sort of see it right here. So there's an arch here, and that's the bottom. And then we take the top piece that we cut out of there and put it on top to give it a little extra arch. So it's hard to see right now, but that's kind of how the shape of it will go. So I'm gonna set you up so that you can watch me cut, but basically what I'm doing is after I cut the first one, I'm just laying it on top of the other boards so that I can use it as a template, and then I just take the jigsaw and zip it out. So then once I get them all cut, what I'll be doing is using some wood glue and screws to attach the arch top to the base piece, and that way it will be solid. So, and then of course we'll have to do some supports in between just to keep it from shifting at all. So, but I probably maybe do 3 of those. And I figured out last night I'll probably do a 32-inch wide bridge because the dogs always like to chase us down to the creek, and so that might be a little bit easier to keep anybody from falling off the bridge or getting pushed off. So anyway, I'll set it up and let you watch me cut it. Okay, here we go. Instead of safety glasses, I use reading glasses or I can't see my line. So I just took the pencil with the template on top and just traced out the areas that I'm gonna cut. And since I've done that, I'm gonna move this piece out of the way, because that one's already cut. And I'm actually gonna slide this down, so you might not see me at first, because I need to be able to clamp it down to the table so it doesn't move on me. So I just clamp it down real quick. It's not gonna go anywhere. And to avoid cutting my countertop, I just use the pencil to tell me where the edge of the countertop is, and then I stop and push it down and reposition it. So, hi baby, good morning. All right, so that's where my countertop is, so I'm gonna stop at this mark, and I'm just gonna cut off this top piece first. And so that just completes my arch when I set the top arch on the base piece. And now we'll do the arch itself. stop there and reposition. Now, one thing to note is you don't want to push too fast when you're cutting your line, because especially with a jigsaw, because that blade is flexible, you can actually cause it to bend, and then your arch isn't totally level. So it's not super important because it's the bottom of this bridge, but it is something that's helpful. Daisy, quiet. I know. So I'm just gonna take off the clamps. Is Cody sitting on you? Oh no, you're trapped. Okay. Okay. There you go. All better. She tells me she's trapped when because she's on a long leash, so she can run around without me worrying about her. But she whines whenever she gets caught up on something. So I'm gonna push this all the way down, clamp it again. Really, one clamp would probably be enough, but you know, safety first. I don't want anything falling on top of my dog. Probably really hurt her. Okay, and so I'm just gonna put my blade back in the same cut line, back just a couple millimeters from where I left off, so that I don't hurt my blade and I don't go because that's no fun. All right, here we go. There's a little knot right there, and so I needed to stop, and then I'll shift it all down and go from the other side. A thing to note with knots is I just slow down a little bit as I'm approaching them, because they tend to be denser wood, so it's a little bit harder to cut through. So we'll reposition one final time, and we should be able to get the rest of the cut. So we're gonna slide this way this time. And I'm just positioning it just past the edge of the countertop so I can finish the cut. I would definitely say try to go the same direction the whole time if you can possibly do that, because that way it's not, you don't hope that you're meeting up at exactly the same point once you get over there. Oh. And you probably want to put your clamps on the proper side. There we go. One more. All right, and I don't need the pencil this time because I'm just going to finish the cut. I'm just going to cut off this top piece again. And there we have it. So what I'll do is I'll kind of put it all together so you can see. Daisy Doodle, what are you doing? All right, so I'm gonna pull this down so it doesn't fall off on me. And so just brush this off a little bit. Dollar store. Must have on a work site. I make a big mess when I'm doing stuff, but I've learned as you try to kind of keep things sort of clean and organized, it's easier to find things and keeps you organized. All right, so all we do is we put the arch that we cut out on top, like so, and just line it up, and that way you've got your arched bridge like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I think it's gonna look really pretty when it's done. So yeah, I'm gonna keep cutting and enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, if I can do it, so can you. Happy homemaking, everyone. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay a glue strip on here and a glue strip on here. But first you wanna make sure that there's nothing that's gonna block a good connection. So there's some staples in the top here. I'm just gonna pull those out. And okay, we should be good to go. So I'm just gonna take my Titebond glue and I'm gonna actually go on both sides. I wanna get the ends really good. Might actually just be easier to take off the lid this time around because it's a little gummy. All right, there we go. So I'm just gonna get a nice bit of glue here and spread it with, you can spread it with a credit card, but I have a little palette knife here. So I'm just gonna come in here. Again, kind of like frosting a cake. Get it off the sides a little bit. Oh, that's a nice thick one. Whoop. Normally I would just do this with my finger, but since this wood is a bit rough, I don't want to get any splinters that I have to pick out because I didn't bring any tweezers, although I should have some in our emergency kit. You never know when a pair of tweezers is going to come in handy. So I'm just going to take this excess and scrape it off, but there we go. And again, this is underside, so it's not really going to matter too much what it looks like, so I'm being a little down and dirty with it. Okay. So I'll do a little bit more glue on this edge because these are going to glue together. Let's get that booger out of the way. It's like, truly is like a booger. Okay. I might have to get some more glue. I kind of feel like it's peanut butter. There we go. Probably a little overkill on the glue, so I'm gonna go a little lighter on this side. There we go, just to make it tacky. Okay, so now, I don't want to get that on anything. I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna match up my edges so that it makes that perfect arch that I cut. Hey, quiet. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp it down first, once I get it aligned the way I want. And then I can drive some screws through it. Daisy, quiet. So open up my clamp. Make sure it doesn't move on me. Hey, shush. Okay. And I can do one in the middle too, which I probably will, just to give some additional pressure while it's drying a little bit more, once I drive some screws. Because I could put one under the arch here. Oops. As long as I don't let it tip away. So, Daisy, shush. Need grab another clamp here. Oh, I just got my short ones. Ooh. Nope, just my short ones. Well, okay, it is what it is. So, Daisy, shush. So I got some 3-inch screws here. So I'm just gonna put them in kind of close to the edges of the arch, just because they're not, I don't have super long. And these are self-tapping screws, so I should just be able to drive them in without worrying about splitting the wood. Yep, no problemo, except it keeps wanting to tilt on me. I'll do one more about right here. Some on the other side. And I'm sinking that down a little bit so that it doesn't interfere with the planks that I put on it when I'm ready to put the planks on. Go right here because there's no nuts. All right. So that should hold it pretty well while it dries. So I can actually take these off. Get that little bit of glue juice off. All right. Like that. And then I should be able to set it right down. And then once I have another one and some braces, I'll be able to stand them upright. I think that's gonna be really cool. Okay. 3 more to go. Hey everybody, welcome back to Toolbelts and Lace. Okay, we've made some progress here at the cabin site. So I was just gonna give you a quick update. So I glued together my arch pieces, so they've all just been drying. They've been screwed together. And so after much math, which I have to pay extra attention, you can see that I've had to check and recheck my numbers because you always want to measure 5 times and cut once. So you don't want to waste your materials. So let me show you what I've got. So here's the setup. I've been using the, I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, this thingamajig, chop saw, there you go. I'm getting tired. And I've got my generator out here, and it took me a minute to get it started, but I got it started because my husband taught me how. Thank you, baby. Okay. And so I've got my little work table, and then I needed an extra support because I went to the Garden Valley hardware store and they didn't have any, the only boards they had that would work after all the calculations that I did were they were 12 feet long. So I needed a little extra support as I was cutting it down. Oh my gosh, I have no idea what's in my hair, but it's very, very sticky. I'm gonna need a trim. Okay, so that's what this was for, is just a little bit of support for me. And so what I have done is I have pre-cut everything after measuring 2,000 times. And you will see over here on the porch, I have these. Now these are stringers that will go between the arches underneath the platform so that it gives it some rigidity. So I've cut 3 per, when I was measuring, I'll put one right in the center and then one 2 feet out from each end, and that should be plenty to hold it. So I'm not worried about that. And then because of the lumber that was available to me, I kind of had to change my plan. And so I'm actually going to be using 5.5 inch wide or 2x6s for one bridge. And then for the other bridge, I'm going to be using the 2x8s, which is actually a 7.25 inch measurement. So I had to account for the gaps in between because you want to allow for swelling. So I'm accounting for 1/4 inch gaps in between the boards. So as they lay on top of the arch, they'll be 1/4 inch apart to allow for swelling and shrinking, and hopefully it will last a lot longer. In addition, I have some weed block here, this thing here, and I'm going to, the first step I'm going to take is to go down and kind of cut back any weeds, any tree limbs that are sort of in the way, and that way I can more easily drag the pieces down. I'm gonna have to drag them down, just 1 or 2 at a time, just for weight and the steepness of the slope, because I don't have the stairs in yet. But I kind of need, at least the first bridge, the one that's furthest from the water, in first before I can start doing the stairs, because I need to make it all, meld together so that it's more of a natural step. So what I've done is I have pre-cut my plank boards. So this is for one. This is the 7.25 inch wide. These are the 5.5 inch wide. And so I'll be able to take those down there later, but that is kind of one of the last steps. So biggest piece of advice I can say is make sure you always measure multiple times. I pray that I did my calculations properly, because it's really going to stink if I didn't. So I'm accounting for a little bit of overhang on each end, and then I accounted for the 1.5 inch width of the risers, the arched risers, and that way I know how much space is underneath that's kind of free floating, to make sure that it would be sturdy enough and not need a third arch underneath in the center. So I think we'll be good. I've only got 17 inches span, and construction is usually 16 inches on center, so I figured 17 should probably do it okay. So I'm gonna first eat some lunch because I didn't have breakfast, because I never do. I'm always too excited to get started on things. So I'm gonna eat some lunch, and then I'm gonna take my weed eater down and my clippers, my choppers, to go kind of clear a path, and then I'm gonna start assembling the first bridge. So I will let you know as we go. So if I can do it, you can do it. Happy homemaking, everyone. We will see you on the flip side. Hey everybody, it's Lorinda with Toolbelts Lace, giving you an update on the creek bridges. I did not film any of it because of the steep slope behind me that I've had to climb up and down many times today with heavy objects, and didn't have enough hands to carry a phone. But I'll just show you the final result. They are done. I just need to now add the stairs down here, but I'll give you a little look-see. So I got one stair in. That's all I have the energy for. And you can see the other bridge there in the distance. So as you can see, it's pretty steep. I'm holding the phone level right now. So I have a lot of stairs to put in, but I'm super happy with how solid these bridges are. And Cody doesn't like walking across them yet, but I think we'll get him used to it eventually when he gets excited to come down here. So here it is. This is the 32-inch one, 32 inches wide, and the other one's the 28. But it is done. And I can bounce on it, and it doesn't move. So they're solid. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Next project to be continued. See you next time.